And hello, everybody. Dewar got you
Hello.
up front on this one. How's it going?
Yeah, front and center doing well. It's Friday. It's 2 weeks into October, and we are incredibly warm and none of the fluffy white stuff quite yet. So, big fan.
That's got to be a new record.
Yeah, from now on, I'm going to be talking about his weather because it's
Mhm.
either going to be beautiful or miserable. No
Mhm.
between.
It's still pretty warm here as well. I want it to kick in a little cooler. I think we're supposed to get some 70s next week, so I'm pretty excited about that
Mm-hmm.
for sure. I guess we need to tell the people all our plugs though right off the top, huh? So we're live on YouTube every Friday, 6 Central. You that are here know the deal. We're also available as a podcast on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Be sure to give us that subscribe, rate, and review. And this week, I created a Discord, so you can go join the Cleaner Cord over on the Discord. I don't think I put the link in bio, but it'll be there for the podcast platform.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me on
A unique,
Instagram.
a unique platform that those that love to venture in the depths of the internet.
That's right. You can find it.
Oh.
And if you want to support the podcast, you go check out the Cleaner Stash website. It's an affiliate website. Promo the Cleaner 10, help us out there. And at Car Supplies Warehouse, use promo Jamie10, save you a little chunk of change, and support the podcast and the channel in general.
Mm-hmm.
Dewar, where's your plugs?
My plugs for the Canadians out there.
Yeah, for the Canadians, yep.
Yeah. TOC Supplies. They just cracked 1,000 followers on Instagram, so congratulations to them.
Woo! TOC.
Yeah, they have a bunch of stuff and like new stuff every single day. My Instagram handle, BW, will save you 10% there for those Canadians or Americans that want to buy there for whatever reason. I'm sure they ship all over, but no, Owen and Josh and the team there are top notch. So that's all I got. But yeah, I mean, it's t-shirt weather. I think our guest won a t-shirt from a couple episodes back, Glove Box one. So what do you say we bring one in?
Yeah, we need to do another giveaway. I think we need to motivate people to give us some subscribe rates and reviews. So I'm gonna get something cooking for the people.
Very cool.
Drop us those good reviews. I think we need to come up with you like a little segment up top.
Yeah.
Reviews or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all right, let's get to our guest. Let's get him on. He's the man with the plan. He's Dustin Guard with the Detail Spot. He's got a podcast, a YouTube channel. Everybody, it's Mr. Dustin Guard. How's it going, buddy?
Yo, what's up, guys?
Hello. Happy to have you on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm super excited.
That's right. That's right. You got a nice setup there. Got the good camera. Got the good backlight. You are just a professional podcaster. I'm glad to have you on the show this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually kind of nervous, man. This is my first podcast outside of my own. So
Yep. Gotta get you on, get you to drop some good stuff. So what kind of? You need to give us some tips on some microphones and some cameras and some good lighting situation. We got the virtual backgrounds going, so we'll have to get some tips for you.
He's got the bokeh going on, the depth of field, that delicious smoothness.
Dude, this is all brand new. It's not brand new, but brand new to me. I've been trying to figure this thing out for like a hot minute. I went from like a webcam and just finally figured out like the technology that I needed to actually use my camera. So you guys are seeing the new stage of it, I guess.
It's looking good. It's looking very professional, very nice, very crispy. Yeah, nice crispy image. It goes a long way. Daryl saying he loves the hat. Tell us about the detail community.
Yeah, man. So essentially it's just a community full of detailers that are just really looking to like level up their business. And, it includes resources on SEO, ranking online, marketing when it comes to social media, email marketing, pretty much anything that a detailer needs to learn when it comes to leveling up their business, and just all in one place. Just kind of like a library for detailers to come view it anytime they need it.
Okay. Where can we find that at?
You can go to thedetailcommunity.com/join.
Okay, I'll get that in the podcast notes for sure, and I'll link it in the description after the show. But
I'm just taking a look at it now. It's pretty neat. I think that's
see here.
It's a good resource for aspiring detailers, and even detailers that have already been in the game for a long time. It's always be educating yourself, always be learning. And I think it's something that the more you network with everyone, the better you're going to get.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree.
Yeah, let me try and pull this up real quick.
The big thing with me was like, whenever I first started, it was like, I didn't do things right by no means. Like it was very my brand wasn't good. I didn't know how to market. Like, honestly, if anybody knows me, I actually quit detailing because I wasn't really getting business. And this was kind of something like, as I started figuring things out, I was like, man, I want to put this in a place and not make it, hundreds or thousands of dollars. I wanted to make it to where detailers can afford it and actually get the knowledge that they need. So
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, starting a business, taking it from, the DIY to the weekend gig, going full time and really getting after it. It's a hard step. So having someone to kind of guide you and give you the hot tips goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else we got going on here?
Yeah, I do love the kind of pink and teal look. It's a good complementing color palette.
Yeah, I love the 90s. Like, I love 90s color scheme, so that's kind of what I went with.
Very nice.
What kind of classes we got here? Explore classes. What's the next one? Is it like scheduled, or can you kind of take one at any time?
So technically all of these, like, it says a value of each one of these, but there's over like 50 plus classes inside. But like, these are just some that you kind of get a sneak peek of. Like, when you join though, it's only $37 a month. So like, but you get all of these classes plus like 40 something more. So just kind of like a sneak peek of what's inside.
Very cool. Boom, there you go. Yeah, go check out that. The detailing community looks like a heck of a deal. If you're in the early stages of your detailing business or interested in going full deep dive into the detailing world. So, Mr. Guard, let's take a step back, learn Dustin's detailing origins. So let's take us back to the beginning of getting into detailing and getting us down that road.
Yeah, man. So I was in high school. I had a buddy. And I was probably like 14. I was probably 15 by this time, 15 or 16. And I had a buddy and he worked at a detail shop, and it was like, I'm talking like, it's like a hole in the wall type place, but kind of a cool vibe too. Like, it was on the square. Like, I kind of lived in like a small town vibe, but it was like in the middle of their square. So you got to see kind of like traffic passing by all the time, but just a detailer who, had employees, me and my buddy. He got me the job there, and so I mean, I was making minimum wage pretty much, but he allowed me to work as many hours as I wanted, which to me was really cool, and it kind of did something to me. Was I saw that, like, when it came to like money, I was like, okay, cool, I can work till 10 o'clock at night, and he's going to allow me to. So I would work as many hours as I could for $7 something an hour. And so working there kind of taught me like a work ethic, and like loved my boss, super cool, taught me a lot. He didn't really, like, if you were to see his methods, like, I mean, it's a guy that was using Dawn dish soap. Like, that's kind of how I started, but he did teach me how to use a rotary. Looking back, it wasn't the right way to use it, but he did put it in my hands and kind of show me how.
Put it in your hands. So.
It's a way to use it. Not right, but it's a way.
Yeah, it's I mean, we were waxing like with a rotary, and it just, like, looking back, it's funny to see, like, that what I thought was the right way, and that was $50-$75 details, what we were doing for 4 or 5 hours. There's no way the guy was probably making any money, but what it did was it taught me a work ethic, and I loved my boss for that at the time. He eventually actually went to jail for a little bit. I mean, nothing, crazy, but so he went to jail, and I was like, man, like, I kind of like this detailing thing. So I had like a 95 or 96 Toyota Camry at the time, and I had like a big, like, those big shop vacs, like the big round ones.
Yep.
So like I would throw that in the trunk, and I'd throw like my water hose in the trunk, and like, a bucket, just everything that I thought I needed based on what I learned from him. And I was kind of detailing people's cars in high school, no overhead. And obviously I didn't have insurance or anything like that, like an actual business should be ran. But I was hustling as a high schooler, and and, you know, doing $40, $50 details as well. And, and like after I graduated, I did that for a while, made good enough money for a high school kid. And after I graduated, I went to the Navy and did 4 years in the Navy, kind of started detailing part-time. That's kind of where that hunger for it kind of came, because like I was detailing some of my officers and like some of my higher ups. And so I would detail for them and detail some of the, like my work center. And then I got out and was like, man, what am I going to do? So I pretty much resorted to detailing. And that's when I started my own business. And that first year of being my own business, I did not know what I was doing. It was technically a business, but, you know, a year after that, I really started putting my nose down and diving into things that like I needed to do. And fast forward to today, I'm, you know, my business has kind of got to a point to where I can kind of step away from it a little bit and let it run and kind of trust the guys who are doing it.
Yep. So, yeah, you fell back to what you knew, what you already had a muscle memory for. Pulled out that old DeWalt, went to town more, huh?
Exactly, yeah.
That's like going to the gym and work all at the same time, because
right,
they're not light.
It is, dude. And yeah, in the beginning, like when you're first learning that thing, it's definitely a workout because, you know, you're not tilting it to the side. You're letting that thing walk you around the car. So
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm still recovering over here from my 2-week sickness I've had. So excuse me. Might go muted.
Man, I get that for sure.
Yeah, man, it's been rough. We've had all kind of stuff. Deary, got any questions?
Oh, I think it's, you know, that's kind of a rags to riches kind of story. I mean, it's cutting your teeth with stuff, and, you know, like a lot of detailers out there, even though we may look at it as the quote unquote wrong way, I mean, that's what works for them, and that's what pleases that demographic. And, you know, there's an upper echelon of people, but again, just starting out and then just, again, networking with the people, which I think is kind of tied into what you're doing now, which I think is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And again, you start out with, you know, doing family and friends stuff. In your case, you know, same deal. And yeah, it's look where we are.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like what you said about like the demographic, like what he was charging was that, I mean, that those people were thrilled with the result that he gave.
100%.
Like, you know, with us, like you guys know what products to use. You guys know that it even comes down to the microfiber sometimes, but like with his demographic, like those clients didn't care and they were thrilled with paying what they were paying, and, you know, and the type of result probably, you know, equaled that, but they were, everybody was happy. So.
Oh yeah, we still got a couple of them shops around here for sure, and people, you know, people love them. They're always jam packed, you know, getting the quick buff and the, you know, just quick wash and wax. They're happy.
Using a shop broom to clean the hood.
That was leading us into the detailing business, the business of detailing. So bet you had a couple of, you know, stumbles before you've kind of figured it out. So kind of walk us through those early days of your own business and kind of those downfalls and pitfalls you fell into and how you recovered.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, 2016 was really when I started. I got out of the Navy, instantly, you know, got all the equipment, supplies, anything that I needed to run my business. And, you know, that first year, and just like a lot of detailers, it's like they start it. You may have that momentum at first just because friends and family, eventually they die out. And like, you know, now you got to actually get clients that never heard of you. So that first year, man, it was kind of rough. I eventually actually quit because I wasn't really getting any business. I didn't really know how to be my own boss either. So like it comes with that, that discipline saying, hey, you know, if I don't have clients, I need to work on things that are going to get me clients. So a lot of times I was just kind of sitting on the couch and not doing what I really needed to be learning or doing. And so I actually quit and worked for a job called Fastenal, which is like a parts store. I was like, man, I'm just going to try to get into like a career type thing and you know, work for somebody. And I did that for about 3 months, but then like, I kind of had this like hate towards myself. I was like, man, I want to be my own boss. I feel like I failed and didn't give it my all. And so I ended up quitting that and then just going all back in on my business. I rebranded, renamed it. And later, like 2017 through 2018, I actually got into a shop. And then end of 2018, I got into a bigger shop. and then started having to like get into that struggle of like employees. So like, and that's one that I would honestly tell anybody, like, I can't help you fully when it comes to who to hire, how to hire, or how to get the right employee. Cause I think a lot of it is luck. What stumbles across when you need it, you kind of take it. Cause if you need a helping hand at the point of what your business is at, you're going to take whatever you can get. So like, I got a lot of really bad employees. So, that really set me back, honestly. So like, employees can either put you so far forward when it comes to scalability, or they can just really handicap you. And I kind of got handicapped for a little bit. I got a couple really bad ones, and kind of gave me like a learning curve of what I was looking for based on kind of the direction I wanted my business, which was I wanted to be more high end. Like I had now had the big facility, like I could grow into. So I needed employees to feel that, to push out the type of work that I felt like my brand attracted. So, and I stumbled across some, but I think like the downside of, or like, I guess my struggles would have been employees, would have been, finding guys. And like later I kind of figured that out of saying like, there were things that I wasn't doing right, when it came to, when it comes in, you want to have all of your foundation set, what they're coming into. You kind of want them to be like, this is a company I want to grow with, So there were things that I did wrong, things I did right. But I think when it came to like my biggest struggles, those two would be it. Yeah. Beginning stage, just not doing what I, being disciplined, because being your own boss it is hard. It is hard to wake up and say, hey, I'm going to work from 9 to 5 consistently and know what to work on and what you need to learn. And then for 2, I think it would be employees. That was my 2 biggest.
Yeah, employees is a whole different beast there, because you're mostly getting people who, I'm gonna go wash this car, for get some easy money and do it, half half wrong, get the DeWalt running across it, get the Dawn dish soap. I mean, that's mostly what you're looking at when employees are coming to apply for a job at the local detail shop. So really hunting down the good
like what you said, I think that's 100%. Yeah. I think that's the thing, is like, it's hard to differentiate when it comes to this industry sometimes, of like what we're looking for is we're looking to produce quality, but a lot of guys look at it as, hey, it's a hard line between like a car wash and a detail. Like, and sometimes the employees coming into this don't know that difference. And so you almost have to teach them before you actually get to the point you want them to be at.
Have you ever encountered maybe like the opposite end of the scale, where someone's maybe chasing perfection on like the lower end, like package, or spending too much time?
Oh man. Yeah, 100%. I actually have one guy in mind. Like, this guy was one that he wasn't my best employee I've ever had, but he was one that I truly had like this weird, I saw a lot from him in the future. Like, I saw what he could be and what my business could be based on if he were to get to that point. He came from a dealership, which a lot of times like dealership work it's really shoddy. Like, it can be how they're taught. It could be wrong. But he was very tedious, but too tedious. So like, there's a point where if you're not charging 10 grand for a detail, like sometimes there are things that you have to scrub and move on from. Like, it's like, hey, that's not coming out. It could come out, but are they paying for it? So he didn't understand as much of like the common sense of the business side of like, hey, this detail right here, I can only have you on it for 4 hours. If you go past that, now you're starting to get into like, we're starting to get into the red zone. And if you do too many red zone details, I guess you could say, then, then you are not providing the value. You know what I'm saying? You know how to detail. I think your details are phenomenal, but there's a point where maybe they're too good, and maybe you're spending way too much time on certain areas to where it's time to move on, because I mean, there are guys that charge 10 grand for details, but they're polishing the undercarriage and they're, going that far in depth. That's not your average. That's not your typical. So it's hard to find a guy and say, hey, it's time to move on, man. Like, if you're polishing a car, like, my thing is like we sell a lot of enhancement packages. So like 60%, I promise the client, because I've never seen the products that we use and the pad combo that we use, I can guarantee 60% on almost every vehicle. There obviously there are those ones that are just butchered, but like most cars, I can promise 60%, and sometimes they reach all the way to 100%, just by one stage of polishing. But there's a point to where I would have to tell them like, hey man, when you're doing an enhancement, it's 2 hours max. Like you can't go past that,
Yeah, it's quite the struggle, because he's almost your best employee, but you're like, come on, man. Let's get around this car.
And kind of with the dealership stuff too. I mean, obviously they're more volume over quality. And, again, if you're working for someone else that's kind of in that more volume oriented mindset, you kind of have to put your managing expectations with the customer aside and stick to your, typical, here's your list of things, almost like a menu board, and say, hey, this is what you're going to get. And that's it. We're not going to go over and above. Whereas, if you have kind of a detail shop and, or a few people working there, and you have a clear cut expectations with the customer, and, you can go a little bit above and beyond, but still manage it. And, even just myself as an enthusiast, it's hard for me not to go over and above for everybody. It's like, I can knock out that scratch, or, hey, I can, do this and just do a little bit extra, but also it's my time is money as well, just as an enthusiast. And, it's hard not to, but once you kind of put your foot down with it, it makes it a lot easier in the future. It's something that, and I'm sure both you guys have encountered, and it's easy now to say, hey, this is what we're going to get. And if you want me to do this, it'll be this little bit extra. And, people have money to spend out there. And as long as you talk to them, they're more than willing to drop that out. So,
yeah. That's a perfect way to explain it. Actually, it's like, there are times where like we would over deliver. Like there's times to where it's like, hey, I got 2 hours extra. Like I want to make sure this client, because I mean, honestly, you're trying to make sure every client that comes in your door is a returning client, and they go to tell 5 other people. Like that's the impression that you want to make on every client that comes through. Obviously, not every client is going to be just that ideal, but that's your goal on how you want to, make that impression. But like, it's, so if we have 2 extra hours on a detail that, a gap, if we finish early, I would tell them like, hey man, if you want to go ahead, and because he truly had a pride for it. And it was like, hey, if you want to go ahead and, go further in depth on some of those panels that you knew you could have got better, then go ahead and go at it, But what sucks though, is I think I've been in the predicament of like being too close on scheduling, like when you have a packed schedule on a regular basis, you almost have to be so precise, just so, hey, this has to be done at this time because the next one's rolling in, it's coming through those doors, or you're showing up at their location, at this time. And it has to be that way because punctuality is a big part of the game as well when it comes to professionalism. So, I've been in that situation of just biting my nails way too many times that it's like, we got to let certain things go and just know when to move on.
So getting further into your career, when was it time for you to maybe step back from less detailing and more shop owner? Walk us through that.
Yeah. So like, honestly, it kind of started with the detail community because like, I kind of had this vision of doing this. I was like, man, there's nothing really out there that's just teaching without like getting ripped off. If you could say that, like, there's nothing out there to where like new detailers and like detailers who need the help don't have the money to be able to afford like, this $500, $1,000 course or whatever. So like,
and that
started with kind of the idea of
500 up.
Yeah, it's like, so it kind of started with 2 or 3 years ago. I was like, man, this is what I want to pursue my time with. So like I scaled my business actually down, like, kind of sacrificed what we were doing so that I could step myself away completely. And so probably 2 years ago, I started pursuing the podcast and really pushing towards this. The podcast has actually only been up for about a year, but just kind of the leading up to it. So about 2 years ago, I kind of wanted to say, hey, step away. And I kind of got to a point to where I was able to do that, so.
Yeah, so
Very
that's
cool.
a pretty big move.
Mm-hmm.
And
You actually moved states. Like, my
Oh,
business
wow.
is in Tennessee, and
wow.
yeah, I moved completely out of
That's
state.
commitment right there.
So there's no
Yeah.
way you can like
And
just hop back on the
what
floor.
happened though is like I was the type of person, I know a lot of people feel this way too. Like when it comes to reviews, like you hold your business's reputation like, you know, so dearly because you are the one, you know, I was the office manager. I was the one actually detailing a section of the, you know, workload as well. And reviews were like near and dear to my heart. So like if I got a 1-star, I was doing everything in my power to turn that 1-star into a 5-star.
Sure.
And sometimes that meant a refund, you know, and like
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do that now. And that's kind of what I'm leading to, is saying like, I hated that stress. And that was the part of detailing that I wanted to step away from. I wanted to get my business to a point to where I could literally not have to deal with that part of it. I started to lose the passion for it. I started to kind of resent it a little bit, like kind of resent myself for like choosing this to do and spend that many years trying to grow. So I was like, you know, we all get the opportunity to kind of pivot where we want to. We get to build it to a point to where it'll do whatever you want it to do. And so what I wanted it to do was to be able to still, you know, I'd already put this time into it, but I wanted to have a business that was like, okay, if I get a bad review, we're going to learn from it instead of it just absolutely tearing my soul apart. And so now being able to move states away, that's what it did for me. And I kind of wanted it to be that way so that it wasn't like I'm here, I'm so hands-on that I take way too much pride in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. Kind of reshifting your focus to the Detail Spot podcast and the detail community you've built here. So I think you've made, you know, the right move, you know, started to get burnout. So let's shift focus. Let's stay in the detailing, you know, world. You have a lot to offer. So walk us through starting up the Detail Spot podcast and what that's all about.
Yeah, man, it's kind of shot in the dark just because like I did not know anything about like podcasting. This is my first podcast, so I was super nervous to even be on another one that's not my own. Because sometimes
we're pretty laid back here.
Do what?
Yeah, we're laid back here.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's a lot easier like asking the questions versus answering them, you know. So like, you know, but it was that like, and like I said, 2 years ago was the idea of it. It could have been even 3 years ago that I actually started my Instagram to do this. My biggest problem was I never really got on camera. Like I never really put myself out there. So really, I didn't get started until this past year. And it was just an idea of something that like I know I want to do it. And, you know, so it was getting past that fear. I knew what I had to put out was the right things to do just because I had tried the wrong things, and I can kind of steer someone on not doing those. And one thing that I really wanted to do with this was not necessarily be like the spotlight of saying, here's what to do, what not to do, because there are businesses 10 times bigger than what I've ever built. And, you know, there are guys that are 100 times smarter than I am in this game. Like, you know, so that's why I wanted to do a podcast so that it could bring on guys, not just me talking all the time, but also bring on guys that are, you know, maybe better subject matter experts in certain fields. And that's also with like the detail community. It's not just me. It's not like a mentor thing. It's like a thing we all come together and saying, hey, this works, this doesn't. Like there may be classes that I do talk about, but it's more so like I wanted to bring together something to where like other guys could come on and spread their wealth as well, you know?
Yep. Do you got anything?
Yeah, I think just having that community is wonderful. And I think just the more valuable resources that are out there, the better, you know, and people can kind of make their own decisions. But if they, you know, subscribe to a couple of different things, or, you know, whether they're going the paid route or the free route, and they can kind of pick up on patterns and realize, okay, you know, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And, you know, they can choose to learn with that. And then they can also share it with whoever and hopefully get more people on. And I mean, detailing's fun, no matter who you are. You know, a lot of people get their kids involved, you know, they get their friends involved, and, you know, you don't have to make it a stressful experience. It can be therapeutic and relaxing to some, you know, if it's not a job and, you know, trying to pay the bills and whatnot. But, even just someone who's not making a living from it, I think any type of education is paramount.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to the passion of it, and I told you, I got burnt out on having to, when it comes to growing a business, you get areas to where you lose the spark that initially got you into this trade. And that's kind of what I wanted to put out, was saying, hey, let me show you things that because oftentimes we try things. Like when you own a business, you start trying these things, and those things take 3 months for them to work. And then you figure out those wasn't the things you should have tried, or shouldn't have been the things that you implemented. And just that hamster wheel gets you so burnt. And that's kind of the point of this, was me saying, yeah, I point of where I slowly kind of lost a part of the passion of it, but you don't have to, you don't have to lose the passion. You can, if you knew the right things to do, things will work for you. And when they work for you instantly, and they, you see things not instantly, because nothing really works instantly, but you just know what to do and what your next step is, instead of having to figure it out on your own. It kind of lets you keep that passion, because I do love detailing. I love it is truly a therapeutic thing. And that's, to someone else, it'd be like you're just cleaning a car, but there's just another level to it that just makes it that much, and it makes it so enjoyable when you can transform a vehicle to a level that the regular eye, the average eye, doesn't see.
Yeah, and like you were saying, there's guys that may have more successful business than you. They may have the multi-million-dollar car collections, this and that. Those guys, they want to hold it all in. They don't want no one to know this and that. They don't want to start a podcast. So we greatly appreciate you, starting an educational podcast like you've done, and building this community. And I think it's been super successful, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that.
So chat, start hitting us up with the Q&A, and we'll get this portion going. We got a bunch of people in here for Friday night, so I'm sure y'all got a bunch of questions for Mr. Dustin Guard.
Yeah, I'm checking out the Discord here quick, and there's a couple gifts and whatnot. But
Discord, clean your cord. Dustin, when you gonna start up a Discord?
As I was saying, man, I've been on. That's one platform that I've tried to through other Discords. I'm looking at it in freaking awe sometimes, can't figure it out type thing. But I need to join yours, man. Hopefully yours will help me figure it out.
There you go. Just come join the.
I didn't realize you could actually link your chat through it too. That's kind of cool.
Link something like that. Here's one from Larry Singleton. He says, I hope to join a detailing company after retirement, hoping to get 20 to 25 hours a week. I'll be a skilled detailer by then. Any thoughts there? So kind of late in the game for Mr. Singleton, but he's looking to do some side gig work.
Hey, never too late, man.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, never too late. Yeah, I would say if you want to work for somebody, or if you want to take, and work 20 to 25 hours for somebody, then you would just go there and tell them the type of value that you would bring them. If you want to do it on your own, just focus on instead of mass, if you're only going to do it 20 to 25 hours, and this is kind of what I would say to anybody that's doing it part-time. If you're doing it part-time and you have a full-time job or a retirement check coming in to kind of fulfill your income, that's the best way, or not the best way, because sometimes I do say go all in and go big or go home. But not having to rely on it as it being as your income that pays your bills and puts a roof over everybody's head. That's the best way, in a way, because you can now be so selective on who you're trying to get in to use your services. So I would say just be really selective on who you want to detail for. Really figure out do you want to be mass quantity? Do you want to do because if you're cool with detailing everybody and sometimes dealing with not so enjoyable people and not so enjoyable vehicles, then you can do a lower tier price and get those people in the door. But if you're down and only going to work 20 to 25 hours. So it's kind of part-time. I would say really just if your work is there and you're a skilled detailer, I would say, price it kind of not high, but price it to a point to where it attracts people who really respect what you're doing.
Yep. I'd say just do it, your little home-based setup, enjoy your retirement. Why would you want to jump work for someone else?
I think with the just to kind of touch on that too. I think with kind of picking out your clientele if you're retired, obviously you can be a bit more picky and choosy. Mm-hmm. But if I know, one of the things that I actually heard from Levi at the right company is like sometimes the best clients to have are, your stereotypical soccer moms with minivans because they're networking with all their friends and you can push out all kinds of vans and clean out chicken nuggets and glitter all day long. Or even just in the opposite spectrum, you can, if you're retired and have any friends with cars, even just going to talk to a car club, like, hey, let me detail your stuff and, kind of get them involved. And, again, with the pricing a little bit higher, I think that a lot of people are like, okay, well, it's my money that if I was to be spending my money, would I spend this much? But in the same token, you can flip it around. It's like, hey, if you go out to dinner, that's probably mediocre at best. $100 is nothing, Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you put $100 into a detail to make it look awesome, like that could get you pretty far. Mm-hmm. And, leave a lot more satisfied than $100 dinner.
If the old back's still in good shape after retirement, Papa Mom's
your knees, your knees, your hips, your back, everything.
It's not,
and honestly,
probably.
We do. I mean, honestly, we do soccer moms vehicles as well. Like, it's me saying higher tiered price. That could be someone's car that is dirty, but just saying, hey, I respect the time that you're putting. And what you said about like the, me personally, I've said this in a previous episode that I probably would never get my car detailed even if I didn't know how to detail it. Like, sometimes it's hard for me to say someone is really paying $1,000, $1,500, $800 for a coating. Like someone's really paying that because I wouldn't, so it's really hard to get out of that. I think it's a mindset thing because
100%.
Obviously there are people out there that do pay it. So it's, it's hard sometimes to really grasp that you can charge, something for something that you personally wouldn't pay for.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I started as an enthusiast too. It's like I can do that. It seems relatively easy enough. And then like I got very carried away with products and all that kind of stuff. But
now we have a podcast.
Now we have a podcast. Like it's been a super fun journey. But I mean, the ones that just want to do it. I mean, obviously there's those that don't have the time or the resources to do so, and that's totally fine. And it's what makes people like you guys the money. But it's a fun thing to learn even if you want to do it, even if you just want to do one a month or one a quarter, who cares? Like just have fun.
Still, I mean, that's extra money. Like, it's like if you do one, I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. It was like if someone were to just want to do a very, very side gig, like in detail, one car a weekend, and if your prices are right or not even right, just whatever you get to name your price, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to make, whatever you think is worth it. If you wanted to charge $200 or even $100 to detail a car on a weekend, man, that's extra $400 a month, or 200 or 600, 800, whatever it is. Like it's a cool, an enthusiast can do it for an extra change as well. Like, what is $800 a month? That's a cool car payment, or whatever you want to spend it on.
Very much so.
Yep. Yeah, I did that for years. Just the weekend gig. Drop it off on Friday. It'll be ready for you Sunday.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see if we got any more questions. We got Mr. Ryan. Does Dustin, we're a product podcast, so I knew this question was going to come sooner or later, have any favorite products or is focused more on the process?
I was going to ask the same thing, but Ryan beat me to the punch.
Yeah, I figured that question would come up actually. I'll kind of go down the line actually of like products and brands. Like Glovebox, obviously, I love their brand. I love the people behind them. So if like, yes, sir. Actually, you guys were talking about the shirt, man. I actually got my shirt yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, shipping's
I didn't get to wash it yet, so
over there, but I think they're working on changing that. So,
But so I got my shirt, but the next thing was favorite products. I would say a lot of times like I choose who I would prefer to purchase products based on the brand itself. Like I want a strong, just like a customer were to choose us. A lot of times I want to support it just as much as like a customer would want to support us. So like there are brands that I just truly love in this industry. People are really passionate. Like there are, like you have Glove Box, which like if you are for like a monthly subscription box, like that's super cool, man. Like that's for an enthusiast side of it, like get a different product every month. Like, so definitely Glove Box. But like, as far as like detailing chemicals, there's a lot of times where we buy in bulk. We have like this big Snap-on truck that comes through and it's like, you buy 55 gallons of stuff sometimes. So like, but I would recommend like Shine Supply. I'm a huge Shine Supply fan. Like a lot of their products are really good. We use a product, I think it's called Dressed Up. It's like a interior dressing. It's like a water-based interior dressing. But Shine Supply has a lot of good chemicals and polishes. But as far as polishes, I would say for like compounds, I love this product called Americana 1500. It's like a diminishing compound. So like starts off super gritty. And then actually can sometimes just absolutely like polish it out to where maybe you do a quick pass after it. Sometimes not, depending on how hard or how soft the paint is. I really like that. I love this product called 3D1, not Uno, but 3D1.
Very popular. 3D1.
Super good product. Like if for all around, whether hard or soft paint, 3D1 is our go-to. And it works great for mobile as well. So like direct sunlight, we used to use Sonac's Perfect Finish as our one-stage polish, but it's super dusty. But also, it is a really good product as well. So if you have a shop, Sonac's Perfect Finish is really good. Those are some of my favorites. When it comes to like coatings, I've kind of used a bunch of them. Yeah, I mean, coatings, I'm not even going to get into like the bias of like,
that's a rabbit hole and a half.
That one right there is a little nitty gritty sometimes, but I mean, just pick what
you
like.
Was your shop certified by anybody, or you not?
Yeah, we used to go through Ceramic Pro, but
Ceramic Pro.
Yeah, and I'll say this like without like trying to think of a way to like say it without like coatings. Everybody's so biased when it comes to coatings, and I'm really not. I just think like pick what you like and what is easy, but also last a while. Like it's proven to last, because I think coatings just kind of come down to like, hey, what's your communication on what did you tell that client beforehand, and that's what it's going to do or not going to do. So like whether you're applying 5 layers, and that's what I will say about Ceramic Pros. I don't like multi-layer coatings.
Bunch of layers over there.
Yeah, so we kind of got out of that, and but we did a solid 1-2 year run with Ceramic Pro.
Nice. They were pretty profitable though. Would you say?
Yeah, it is. It's just it's really hard to train employees on how to install a 9H coating that is extremely tacky. So it kind of gives you anxiety as the owner applying a coating that is, you have to work 2 feet sections at a time.
Yeah, because they leave all them high spots. That's another job and a half to get all that off.
Oh man, like it's a mission, dude. And I had one employee, the one I was telling you about, that's super tedious. I mean, he tried so hard on it, but I mean, we were using like, if like the wet towel method to kind of level it, and he was using that method as well, and like the temperature was just right, but I like the lighting was what we're all used to, but we had a black Charger, and it like Dodge black is very like deep. It's not like very you see all high spots on a Dodge black. Like we pulled it out, man, and it was like there was like 7 high spots just like middle of the panel. So that was kind of the point. I was like, man, we got to pivot off of this product.
Yeah, I had a black Dodge, and then you could like see where like you would do the squares. And I was like, what's going on here? So I had to level out, like the sections. Yeah, that's a weird black paint.
It is, man. It is.
Kimberly comes in with do you think you need insurance if you're just going to do the exterior wash, maybe a quick interior? I think she's thinking about doing, the weekend deal.
Weekend deal? No. I mean, someone is listening to this and be like, you have to have insurance. Like, insurance is up to your discretion. So like, this isn't like, what is it like when someone's giving you like financial advice? This isn't financial advice, but like, yes and no. Like, no, I have had insurance since I've been open, and we would do hundreds of cars a month at times, and I've never had an insurance claim. So if that tells you anything, but not to say that tomorrow morning there could be the first insurance claim I've ever had. Like, it's one of those things. It's just, if you're part-time now, I wouldn't even stress it. Like, with exterior washes, most of the time, if anything that they would say that you damage, make sure that you're taking pictures of the damage that you see existing to that, or like prior to that rather. That should save you enough, because worst case scenario, they try to get you for like a whole door to get repainted. You would still prefer to go out of pocket than to file that on insurance claim.
Yeah. When you're just doing the weekend deal, you're mostly doing people you know, or at least is in that bubble anyway. So it's really not that big of a deal. And you're not doing those big jobs. Don't pull out the DeWalt. I'd suggest,
Don't pull out the 30-pound rotary to put your 99-cent dollar store wax on. But
right.
I think like you said, Jamie, too, just if it is friends and family, that kind of thing, you may personally know the history of the car, if they've ever had a fender bender and had a bumper repainted or a door or whatever. But even just, it's a quick conversation, even when they drop the car off, just walk around the car with them, and just, if you want to get nitty gritty, you can have a little, there's like photo diagrams online where you can kind of check off. It's like, hey, there's a ding here, just so they know kind of what's going on. And, and even if you're cleaning the car, once you actually wash the car, it may, reveal something that you never knew was there.
That happens a lot,
and just like, quick text or phone call, or just, go over to them, whatever, and be like, hey, did you know this was here? And then they'll be like, oh, I had no idea, so. And I'm sorry, Eric, I am in your head. That's fine.
Smurf chimes in, if it was higher end vehicles, if you're up there in Rickville at Rad Garage, and you're getting all these Porsche 911s and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe you think
glorified about Volkswagen Beetles is what he's doing. So,
Yeah, and like, I mean, honestly, and if you want to keep it, if you want to play it safe, you can get $1 million garage keepers insurance for like $50 to $100 a month. So like, insurance is so cheap as well. So it's like one of those things is where if you want to do this as a business, absolutely get it. But if you're doing it part time, that one's completely up to you. If you can afford the $50 to $100 extra a month, get it for sure. Because even if you are doing it friends and family, honestly, some of the biggest complaints I've ever received were from friends and family. They almost expect.
They're the worst critics ever. But I think if you're in a situation where you're making enough money from it to be paying taxes on it, I think that's a good kind of indicator.
Perfect. Yeah.
I don't know in the U.S. about like income levels and where your paying taxes are, but I know up here it's I think anywhere from like $10,000 to $12,000 a year. If you're making that, then you might as well have a business license, have insurance, like just to cover your butt.
We had a truck account pop in. I got them blocked. People, we got them.
Yeah,
we got them, boys.
That must mean we're big and popular. If the bots want us,
the bots are coming for us, so we're going somewhere. Everybody like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Mike,
as long as they smash that like button, I'm okay with it.
Smash the like button. It says, if I was going to listen to your podcast, what's one of the favorite ones you've done so far that you think you should listen to?
Man, my favorites.
Favorite one.
They're all my favorites.
They all just kind of roll into the next one. But
man.
You did one with Carlos. That was a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love every single one of those that I do with somebody. The ones solo actually they're shorter episodes. The ones that I do solo, they're shorter episodes, but they require so much, like sometimes different takes, sometimes 3 hours worth of work to get those out there. So I like doing podcasts with people and just because it's a good time. So like for one, it's like a good time for me, but it's also a good information because it's two different personalities, two different perspectives. So every person that I've brought on, I would say is a good episode. So I can't really pick one as my favorite, but I'd say any of the ones, and people may like the ones that are solo as well because it goes really in depth when it's just me talking. But there's more of a vibe when there's other people on.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's why we have a guest every week, because me and Dewar just be real boring.
Yeah, if it was just us, I mean, we'd be talking about, Canadian stereotypes, Louisiana stereotypes, all that kind of boring stuff.
The
no bots there, I'll tell you that much.
Yep. No, it wouldn't be no bots on our channel if it was just me and Dewar. We didn't have any connections. This would be a real boring show. But luckily, me and Dewar know a couple people. And they come on and make it a good show. So
yeah,
it's going good so far. Yep.
I love y'all's podcast actually, man. It's like it's a vibe of its own. That's kind of the cool part about like all of these, you guys have a channel and like I have a channel. Like it's the vibe is going to be different because it's just different personalities. And like I like listening to somebody I don't even listen to my own podcast, to be honest. So that's another reason I can't tell you which ones are good and which one's not.
That's right. There'd be a lot of talking about restoring trim,
Yep.
Yeah.
Jamie, there was one up earlier. It was right above Ryan. It's from Mario Santana.
Oh, really?
Pop that one up.
Let me try.
It was up a little bit.
Let's try here. Above who?
Ryan Mulhern.
Ryan.
That
Aha! Mario Santana. Dustin, what is one of the biggest lessons learned along your detailing journey? And that is a good one to end.
Let me think about this one for a minute because it's like there's so many of them, but like the biggest one, that one's hard, I guess. Like I would say dedicating your time towards what like really matters, like what is going to move the needle. So if you're talking like my personal business, and I think detailers in general, probably just because like I probably struggle with the same things that most people have in their business as well. But like with me, dedicating time to what is actually going to move the needle, like, a lot of times like, and like products and stuff that's kind of the fun part of it. But like a lot of times when it comes to the business side of it, it's like use sometimes what gets it done and instead sometimes spend that time learning something that is going to, push your business or get more clients or, I guess just really move the needle. Like, cause a lot of times, like, I think detailers they'll know a polish that just works phenomenal for them, but they'll still be looking for 5 other ones that are going to be that one. You know what I'm saying?
A new one will come out.
Bro, there's so many products out here, and a lot of them, they're the same exact product, but you're saying that one's better than the other one. But it's like products a lot of times are so important. Like, but once you get your process and once you get what works, use that time and that discipline throughout the day. So like my personal biggest lesson, I guess I've learned was not being disciplined, not saying, hey, I need to from 9 to 5 instead of scrolling the internet on, just whatever I'm scrolling, use it to really just learn, really put my head down and say, hey, today I know I need to have some type of content strategy, or I know I need to follow up with clients that have inquired between the past 2 weeks or something. I know I need to be following up with previous clients, having some type of email campaign going. Like these things I know I needed to do, but I was kind of too scared or I didn't know enough about it to actually do it. So I was kind of like intimidated based on what I needed to learn. So I think it would just be disciplined on saying, hey, I'm going to dedicate my time into learning this and actually implementing it, because learning and implementing is what actually moves the needle.
Yeah, indeed. Mike, boom.
$5 super chat. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Raise the roof.
Greatly appreciated.
We'll go ahead and plug your podcast. I think he's got a show tomorrow, ladies' night, I'm pretty sure I'm co-hosting, so I'll be there tomorrow as well. So tune in over at Mike's Auto Detailing channel, and we'll be there.
Speaking of every product, Mike is guilty of having every product.
I got all of them.
He does, yeah.
Before
he
we
does.
got
Started
about
the
it
store
was
and was like, "Y'all want to
everything.
buy some stuff? Here you go."
Yeah.
Here's
Oh,
one for you, Dewar. Oscar wants to know your opinions on the last cut. I don't know if he's talking about G. Davis's last cut or Jace Price's
personally,
last cut.
I know I'm going to break some hearts here. I haven't used the last cut personally, but I have heard it's absolutely phenomenal. I know. But again, as we just talked about, I limited myself. I have a process that works, and I didn't want to, especially with me where I'm not doing a ton of corrections. It's like that's just going to sit in the back of the cabinet and go bad before I get to it. But yeah, that's one that I think I have to get because its working time I've heard is phenomenal, and it's more kind of pad dependent. If you want cut, you use a coarser pad. If you want, a little bit of finishing, use a finishing pad, and it's top notch from what I've seen. But
good stuff.
Sorry to break some hearts there.
There you go. You were always bringing us down at the end.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's gonna wrap us up. Dustin, you got any final Dewar? You got any final thoughts for Dustin before we ask Dustin?
No, I think just keep doing what you're doing. I think it's exciting. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I hope it blows up beyond our wildest dreams. So
be sure to go subscribe to the Detail Spot on YouTube. Let's get the man to 1,000. Maybe he can go live then, right?
Yeah.
We'll do a live show too. But Dustin, any final thoughts, and then hit us with the plugs.
Yeah, man.
Tell us
No
about the
final
Detail
thoughts,
community,
really, just-
where to subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So if you want to check out the podcast, pretty much if you want to check out anything, you can go to talkdetailing.com, and that'll kind of take you to that same page as well. So that'll take you, and you can see that page that we looked at the beginning. You can see the podcast, you can see some of the classes that are included in the detail community. And, if you want to join the detail community, it's a good time. Like we hang out once a month. We go super in depth on a lot of things that, like I said, move the needle, and it's full of other members as well that, are looking to learn and level up and share support along the way. So you can go to talkdetailing.com.
Beautiful.
Boom. There you go. Follow him at the Detail Spot on all the things. Detail spot on Instagram.
Yeah, I love the name. It's very clever.
You can get follow old Dewar at Bucky VW. Start playing my music, get us going out of here. But then follow me at Jamie the Cleaner. If you want to support the show, head on over to the Cleaner Stash. It's my affiliate website. Promo the Cleaner 10. Car Supplies Warehouse. Promo Jamie 10. I got too many promo codes, but those two are the big ones that'll support the channel the most. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you later. Thank you, Dustin.
See you later, everybody. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.